Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today. As in this show, we're going to talk about the energies of the December 4th Sagittarius solar eclipse occurring at 12 degrees of Sagittarius in your natal astrology chart. This is the point that you want to identify. This degree point of 12 degrees of Sag is where the new moon solar eclipse is amplifying energies in your chart for a powerful beginning as you have stepped away and completed some very big lessons, karma, and energy throughout this year. So we're going to discuss more of these energies as there is a lot of significance to this Sagittarius solar eclipse. In fact, it's the last Sagittarius eclipse until 2029. And it is working with the South Node in Sag, which is at 0 degrees during this eclipse point, meaning it is a final completion. And these are the energies that we're going to discuss in today's show, because what I'm feeling so strongly is that this energy is clearing away karma. There is freedom from karma, karmic cycles, karmic energies, something within you that you have been dramatically and intentionally growing through, meaning you've been doing your spiritual work. You've been looking for the wisdom. You've been applying the energy somehow in your life. Sagittarius wants us to grow and expand, but it's often through a bigger understanding and a higher perspective that we might not tap into right away. So as this Sagittarius eclipse comes through with a burst of energy, it's activating some powerful energies within ourselves, but also within the cosmos. And it's helping us to be free from what we've been learning from, where we've experienced growing pains. Maybe there have been some parts of your life, especially this year, that you really thought would play out differently, or you really thought you would go down a different path, a different trajectory, and there were many shifts and changes. What this eclipse is doing, it's helping us clean up and clear out so that that new start can come in and take off. There is inspiration here, there's motivation, there's a sense of new openings. And not only are there timeline changes, karmic clearings, but this eclipse point is conjunct the Great Attractor. The Great Attractor is defined as the energy that could hold 1,000 Milky Ways. It's much, much bigger than our own galaxy. The Great Attractor is one of those amazing energetic creations out there in the cosmos that is so big and so dense that we don't fully understand all the energy around it. But it is associated with a time warp. It's associated with energies and timelines being so flexible, so malleable, that we can now move into different realities. We can experience different effects of these energies and move through different timelines in a very big way. The Great Attractor is at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. This eclipse point is the Sun and the Moon at 12 degrees of Sagittarius, conjunct Mercury at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. So you have the energies of the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury, the messenger, conjunct this vast energy system that is supporting us in moving forward into new timelines, new trajectories, new areas of growth because of what you've cleared out and completed, the karma that you are now free from. You have perhaps tied it up with a bow. Perhaps it was very messy. It could have been ongoing. It could have been complex. This eclipse is helping to set you free. And with that, there comes a renewal of faith. Faith in what is possible, even if it hasn't happened yet. Faith in what you can do in your life, even if you haven't experienced it yet. Faith in where you want to move or what you want to manifest next that is very supportive of new energies, new soul contracts. There's new energies coming through here because every solar eclipse is an amplified new moon, and it's lighting up some energies that feel very significant for the new pathways, the new potentials. And this energy feels like potentially a nakedness, a rawness, a vulnerability, a sense of pure openness that you're maybe feeling could be vulnerable and uncertain. But I feel like because this is a fire sign energy and it's a masculine energy, there is a strong signature of what you're calling in now is connecting you to future timelines and is connecting you to your future self and the reality that your future self is already living. So that has to do with this energy of the great attractor and how it helps to shift our perceptions of time, how we move in to new energies almost overnight. There is an effortlessness here. I'm seeing it as a very seamless changeover, a seamless energy. There is certainly a flow forward, and it feels like we are moving into these higher experiences of ourselves now that so much karma has been completed and unraveled. And it's interesting because the unraveling of this karma, which have been unfinished energies or things within yourself that you agreed to work on or work through in this lifetime, significant lessons or relationships, parts of your life that you've been healing, working through, and really deeply changing it, really arriving at this neutral point. It feels like this neutral point that could be brand new to you, where before something really got to you. It could have really fired you up, really created a power struggle. There could have been something around this energy that really seemed to get to you. And now it feels like there's this neutral point, this very interesting energetic void where it's almost like there's no more dirty water in the container. Their energy is no longer contaminated. It's no longer tainted. It's been cleared and cleansed. And how they've shown me this energy is really interesting. They're showing me this unraveling of the karma has been happening in a way that I can best describe as the reverse of the Earth's rotation. So the Earth spins on its axis in one direction, and it orbits around the sun as it's spinning and revolving. And this energy that is coming, it feels like it's coming off of us, where it's being unraveled and removed. It's happening in the reverse direction of the Earth's rotation. And that's how it's unraveling. It's unraveling off of each of us, but it's unraveling off of the Earth. So this is how the energies are being removed from the planet as well. A reverse orbital spin, and you can even visualize this with a spool of yarn or anything that you spin in reverse, and it starts to unravel, it starts to come off. That's how they're showing me these energies that are being removed from our individual energy fields, but also from what the Earth has been holding and even what humanity has been holding. So a reverse rotation is unraveling these energies, removing them, and then we also have the new downloads coming in at the same time onto the planet. And with this particular solar eclipse conjunct the great attractor at 14 degrees of Sag, there's an amplification of these Sagittarian qualities that are creating a new understanding of what you believe is possible in your life now. Whereas before being maybe earlier this year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, perhaps there wasn't this belief in what was possible for you because all of the karmic gunk was heavier and denser and weighing on us. And now that there's been a very big removal of the karma, and there's been a lot of energy put towards the spiritual growth, spiritual understanding. What am I learning? What's this about? What lifetime did this originate in? Where is this energy coming from? What's my lessons here? What am I supposed to understand? What am I supposed to see? All of these bigger questions have been loosening up that karma, because the karma has felt really tight, and it's almost like wearing a spandex shirt where you just are in your spandex shirt. Maybe it's a wetsuit and it's clinging tightly, keeping you warm, keeping you in this very snug environment. And it feels like there's been the loosening up, the loosening, the stretching of the spandex, the stretching of the wetsuit. I know this is kind of ridiculous, but that's what it feels like. It feels like there's like this loosening up of the energies where finally you take off something that's been so tight and clingy, and you just feel that release and that freedom of, I no longer have to be so confined by these circumstances, by this energy, by these emotions, whatever it may have been. There's a releasing of that. And it feels like that's part of what we've been freeing ourselves from, is where we've been constrained and held tightly by these karmic energies that serve a purpose, that serve a beautiful purpose, that tap us into more wisdom. And that's one of the promises of Sagittarian energies, is that they help us see something that we didn't notice before. They help us understand energetic dynamics and why we believed something or why it was so true for us. The Sagittarian energies connect us to how we have formed certain opinions and belief systems through our life experiences, through what we've been in contact with, how you grew up, the different cultures, the different understandings and teachings that you understood and that formed your ideology, your philosophy of the world. And that is coming off. And so it's so fascinating that I'm feeling this wetsuit, because it feels like that tightening could be something that was almost choking, like almost so uncomfortable and so detrimental to our energies, but it was something that we just accepted as is. And I feel like it does relate to something around the self-identity, like the self-worth, the self-value, what you believed about love, what you believed about money, what you were taught about work or certain parts of your life. It's sort of these things that we just accepted as is. And we've been slowly trying to remove this wetsuit and get out of it because it's been too small. It's been constraining. And it feels like once that's off, there's the ability to breathe deeply, to really come back to center, to understand that you are more, you are bigger, and you don't have to constrain your energy. So there's something here that is opening up, and it opens up and flourishes. It feels like a blooming, it feels like freedom. It feels like this new sense of independence. It also feels like this energy is such an opening that it moves us into new timelines, and that it opens us up to more energies that we're ready to experience now. And what I'm feeling too is that there is this separation that's continuing on between people's belief systems and what they believe they can experience, create, and manifest in this life as you move forward, continue the spiritual work and growth, and how that opens you up to even new possibilities and potentials. This energy is very encouraging. It's very expansive. And as it works with this point called the Great Attractor, it really opens up whole new soul experiences. It's really fascinating to me because what I'm feeling around this is that it opens us up to new areas of growth that we didn't have access to before, meaning it wasn't on the table, it wasn't in front of you because you weren't in energetic alignment with it. But with this energy now opening up, there's things that are coming through, and there's big downloads here, especially with Mercury at 15 degrees of Sagittarius, conjunct the solar eclipse and conjunct the great attractor. This is an opening of energies that show us new ways forward, new solutions, but it feels like they're far reaching, and it could even feel like, how is it possible? Because Mercury is not strong in Sagittarius. Mercury is actually in his detriment in Sagittarius, which means he's furthest from his home sign of Gemini. And Sagittarius is opposite from Gemini. So Mercury misses the details in Sagittarius. Mercury kind of glosses over things he doesn't understand and instead goes for a bigger picture or determines what is true for him based on his beliefs, his opinions, his evaluation of what's right or wrong. So this is a more opinionated Mercury in Sagittarius that isn't aware of all the details, the fine print, the particulars. And so this keeps Mercury above the fray, so to speak. This would be one of the strengths of Mercury in Sag, where you can see where you're going. You can see further down the horizon and be inspired to go for it, but you might overlook how to get there or what you need to pack or how long it could take. So this Mercury, the messenger, is receiving higher downloads about what is on the horizon, where to go. This is inspirational energy. It's downloading new dreams, meaning new life dreams, new things that you want to connect to and create in this life. And it feels like this is very inspirational. It also feels like there is more here that is coming through, and I'm seeing it come on the right side of the body, almost like when you're in a car and there's a vehicle about to pass you on the right side. The energy feels like it's coming up on the right side of the body. It's coming up for you to see something that was out of sight, almost behind you. Okay, why was it behind you? What's going on here? Let me see. Okay, they're showing me restrictions, what was prohibited, what was restricted, what was not allowed to move forward. Now it has momentum. Now it's picking up. Now it's moving forward. Okay, so it's almost like something was just not available. It wasn't time. It wasn't moving. Maybe it felt like it was stagnant. And I'm seeing that type of restricted sign, that tells you can't go in here, it's restricted. I'm seeing that energy lifting up, and then there's a sense of, okay, now more is coming forward. And this definitely feels like Mercury the messenger energies, and it feels like it's new information, new communications, new people, new connections. It feels like whatever was held back earlier this year is now free. It's no longer restricted. It has movement. It has supercharged movement as well. And there's a supercharge here because it's connecting with this great attractor that supports the bending of time, that supports taking us out of timelines where something can just happen quickly, instantaneously. I'm seeing things come together, right time, right place, where you can't plan it. And in fact, there's something much bigger going on here around where things are connecting, because that is that influence of the great attractor. I'm feeling, magnetic. It feels like a very magnetic energy. And yes, magnets can repel, but this is magnets that attract. So there's a big attraction, magnetic attractions coming in that weren't available before, that are free to move now, free to move forward because of the karma that's been completed, because of the wetsuits that have been removed. And it feels like there's these openings now that are going to help move us along, move us forward in a way that opens you up to new potentials in your life. So you want to find where in your natal chart you have 12 to 15 degrees of Sagittarius. This house is the environment and the area of life where this Sagittarius new moon solar eclipse is occurring, and where it is going to take you further than you could have anticipated, planned, or thought if you get your mind out of the way. And so what's interesting here is that the Sagittarius planets are ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is currently in Aquarius at the time of this eclipse. Specifically, Jupiter is at 25 degrees of Aquarius. And Aquarius is very cerebral, but it's about the future. And that's why I'm feeling this energy of your future self is telling you what to do. Your future self is saying, get out of your own way. Don't overthink this. Look at what is possible when you don't only rely on logic, or you're not trying to mentally plan every little detail or every little particular. This energy is interesting because it has a sense of movement coming through, like this energetic catapult that can happen faster and easier if you're not trying to overplan it or overthink it. And Jupiter in Aquarius taps into your knowingness of what you know is true and authentic for you. And I feel a strong connection to the body consciousness here. Now at this solar eclipse, Mars is in Scorpio, 23 degrees, squaring Jupiter. I'll put the chart up on the podcast slideshow. And what it feels like is that the body has a desire to move and to go places that if you allow it to be in charge, it will take you where you need to go every day, every area of your life. And there's a new level of trusting your own energy here that's opening up. It's as simple as you're driving to a friend's house or you're driving to a store, and all of a sudden you feel the urge to just take a different route, try a different direction to get there. And as you do so and you trust that, you're then in contact with something that you haven't seen before that lights you up or that makes you happy. There's something else that you see or discover that you hadn't known was there before. And it's sort of like you could live in a place for a really long time and miss certain parts of its magic or its charm. But when you're trusting the energy, you're trusting your body, you'll connect with that frequency. And so it's opening up to the unknown, opening up what you don't know yet. And that's interesting because that Sagittarius energy wants to know. And when it knows, it can understand, oh, I was right. Oh, this is correct. Oh, this is exactly true for me. But this is a new beginning point. There's something here that's being energetically reset. And this does correlate to the South Node at 0 degrees of Sagittarius before it moves into Scorpio. The South Node always moves in reverse. So when it's at 0 degrees of a sign, it's that 0 degree neutrality, the void, the reset, and the wiping clean, clearing out what is no longer needed. So I'm feeling like what this is offering you are these beautiful new ways to trust your energy, to trust what you are wanting to move towards, to open up to what you don't know. And if you can trust that, if you can trust, I don't know what's happening next in this part of my life. I don't know where the next opportunity, the next job, the next love interest, the next passion, the next whatever, the next business inspiration. I don't know what it's going to be or when, but I know it's coming. So what you're basically putting energy towards is the trust in its arrival, the trust in whatever it might be coming through and showing up, but from a place of this calm, detached, leaning back. Like when you're sitting in a chair and you're not trying to lean forward or be over eager. This is an energy of leaning back, relaxing into the energetic flow. And when you're out of your own way, so to speak, and you're not overthinking it or trying to overplan, that's exactly when the answers arrive, the inspiration hits, the person shows up, the job, inspiration comes through. So there's this interesting leaning back into trust and allowing these energies to essentially carry us, to assist us, to show us how supported we are, even when we don't, quote unquote, know, when we don't know what's coming or when or who or how. And this is the kind of thing that we know we have to practice regularly, or we can choose to practice regularly, and it can be easier said than done. But this is an eclipse that's bringing in all these new potentials that weren't available to you before, and they could come in quickly, they could come in out of the blue, and they're based on what you've been attracting, what you've been putting energy towards. This is a strong energy signature of your faith being renewed, and that understanding that hope is not lost. All hope is not lost. It's like if you gave up on something, or you just said, why isn't this working? It's not happening. Why is this so hard? All those things that can come up. This is where, when you have released, surrendered it, and let it go, when you have worked through your own energies with it, and you're clear on that, you're at that void or that neutral point, something else comes through, and it can come in fast. So understand that this is a very pivotal transition point that sends us on these new trajectories. Again, I feel it as a time warp, a timeline shift, a timeline change, where things are transitioning to all of a sudden you could have a lot opening up in your life that you didn't think was possible, or you maybe before were like, well, how would this happen? How could I create this? How would this come together? And it could line up from the energies of this eclipse, conjunct the great attractor, based on the energies that you've been clearing and removing that have raised your own vibration and frequency, which therefore raises what you attract in. And I'm sure you're very familiar with the law of attraction, but this is the law of great attraction. I mean, this is where there could be something that shows up that's bigger and better than what you thought you would create or bring in. I mean, this feels amplified. And of course, that can go in many different directions. And so if there are individuals who haven't been doing their work, for example, or you've been ignoring something, or you're like, I don't want to deal with that. That's not my problem. It's not something I need to take care of. Well, this eclipse could amplify that, bring it right into your face, because the universe is saying, you have power here. You have power to address this, or to take care of this, to heal from this. So some people could have an amplification of what they've been ignoring, what they haven't been seeing in themselves, what they haven't been healing. There could be an amplification of their karma. There could be an amplification of what they thought they didn't have to deal with, where there's that spiritual ego or that spiritual bypassing. That's like, nah, that's not mine. I'm not responsible for that. That is not the case in these energetics. So this energy is very significant because it will show you how far you've come. And it could also show you where there's still work to be done if there's something you haven't taken care of, you haven't been mindful about, or you haven't been responsible around. And speaking of responsibility, during this solar eclipse, Venus is in Capricorn, approaching her exact conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn, and preparing for her retrograde. Venus stations retrograde at 26 degrees of Capricorn on December 19th. She is conjunct Pluto. So there are very big energies throughout December related to Venus and Capricorn and Pluto dynamics, where this brings up, of course, the world economy, global markets. This brings up where we invest, what is valuable to us. And there is a deep renovation, even destructive energies around what we value, what has meaning, what has significance, where we're being responsible, and what it means to continue to value ourselves as we go through some of these earthquakes and some of these big changes. So there is some turbulence in December, especially related to Venus in Capricorn retrograde, conjunct Pluto, and also we're going to have the third and final square between Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. So there are tumultuous energies in December, but we've already been moving through them. What's shifting and changing is the human light, the human spirit, the human understanding of energies. And this is where we are powerful together and we are powerful individually. So there is a shift happening in December that's going to put you on a higher timeline and trajectory that reflects your own work, your own healing, your own spiritual growth. And that's going to assist in moving, it feels like moving above the turbulence of some earth energies, especially related to the bigger transitions that are happening on the planet now. I feel like this eclipse is a liftoff. It has that liftoff quality where you could feel your energy goes higher while there's an incoming storm, or you feel like you're above some of the other energies that are denser and heavier and darker. So if you can make the most of this and allow yourself a new start that's calling to you, allow yourself to take a risk, to go for something, to try it, to just see what happens. It could even be, this is a very powerful time to set your intentions for what your dream life looks like, what it involves. Maybe you do a vision board. Perhaps there's things that you already have in place that you want to give more energy to. Perhaps even this year has brought clarity around what matters to you and how you want to live your life going forward. Now, also at this time, we have Saturn in 9 degrees of Aquarius, providing a sextile to the Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Sag, and that is stabilizing. That brings in something solid and clear that you can build on. And again, this relates to your future self, where I'm feeling like your future self is calling you forward. It's beckoning you into a vision or a dream or something in your life that is waiting for you. But it requires trusting in the outcome and believing in what is possible for yourself. And this is a solar eclipse that is basically opening up that question of, what do you believe is possible in your lifetime? Where do you believe you can go? What do you think is really waiting for you that is not only some far off dream, but could be your daily reality? And your future self, which is energetically connected to these planets in Aquarius, Saturn and Jupiter, are saying that there is somewhere else to go in your life and in your energy where you've completed so much karma, you've done so much healing. Now let's move on. And are you ready to move on? Can you really trust this liftoff? Because this liftoff is going to take you to places that you are not expecting and that can surprise you and bring in beautiful delight. But you'd have to get out of your own way, and you can't rely only on your mental processes to get you there. And if you have a willingness for this, to step into this, again, it brings in a renewal of faith. It brings in this understanding that all hope is not lost, that I thought maybe version 1 would happen this way, and maybe you're on version 5 or version 6 of something, but it's still showing up, because as your frequency changes and your vibration changes, the outcome changes, what you're attracting changes, what you're connecting with changes. So I feel like this is going to be a beautiful opportunity to go higher, to open up to new dreams, to trust your own energy, to understand that as you leave things behind and you complete the karma and you're so done with that wetsuit, you're then feeling a new freedom in your energy, and a freedom that could feel foreign. And it's interesting because now what I'm seeing, what they're showing me, is going back to this visual of energies coming off the earth, but in the reverse rotation of the Earth's spin. The energies are unraveling and coming off, and they're being pulled into that energy of the great attractor. And it's like this huge black hole But what it feels like is a washing machine where it's cleaning up, clearing out, taking those karmic energies and transmuting them to that neutral point where they're fully cleansed and cleared from the earth's energy field, but also from the soul's history, like the soul's experiences of different energies and dynamics and emotions and everything that can be connected to these karmic imprints. It's all being cleaned in the wash. And it's through that renewal. There's a renewal here that's showing you more of your strength and what you're made of. Because this eclipse point also trines Chiron in Aries, which is the ability to do something on your own terms. The growth in independence, the growth in trusting yourself, in what you want to create. That Aries energy wants to create, wants to start something new, wants an adventure, wants a beginning point. And with this trine to the planets in Sagittarius, there's something that you're being asked to do on your own terms in a new way. And you could have some vulnerabilities or fears around that, where it's like, oh, can I do this on my own? Can I stand on my own 2 feet in this part of my life? Is this something that I can handle? Can I trust this? And the universe is reminding you that you came in with this ability to live life on your own terms. And as more of these karmic energies have been removed and you've done the spiritual growth and the healing and you've really committed to yourself, this is where you feel a strength and a sense of, yes, I can do this on my own terms. Yes, I can go my own way. Yes, I can trust myself even when I have days of doubts or I have things rise up that make me question myself. I can still trust myself. I can hear the voice of trust above those other smaller voices that sometimes creep in. So overall, the Sagittarius solar eclipse feels very energizing. It feels like it's ready to help you move forward. It's setting you free from the karma. It's setting you free from the loops and the cycles. It's showing you what you can travel with and how you can trust yourself even more. It's giving you the renewal of faith that, again, if something didn't happen earlier this year, earlier in your lifetime, earlier, whatever that means to you, that doesn't mean it's gone. It means that as you've done your healing work and you've committed to your own spiritual growth, you've shifted and changed. So then that energy has to shift and change to meet you in a new place. And I'm getting the visual of a skyscraper or a very tall building, and you're wanting to meet someone for lunch. And you're like, okay, let's meet on the 16th floor. And then something shifts and changes. The elevator's broken. They get delayed for a meeting. Something comes up, whatever, and you don't meet at the 16th floor. But then you're like, wait, we can still meet, but now we have to go higher because the energy's higher. So now you're meeting on the 22nd floor. And then you have to wait for them to meet you there. Do you see what I mean? It's like the energies are always in motion, and it can throw us off logically. It can also create doubt because there's a part of us that has expectations. This is also one of the Sagittarian themes, is what are your expectations? Because your expectations could be limiting you. If you're like, we have to meet on the 16th floor, and yet the 22nd floor is so much better, just go there. Are you holding yourself back? Are you limiting yourself because you had an expectation it would look like this? It would play out like this. It has to be this. So that's why there's these openings that we can trust. Open up to the fact that maybe it's okay to be quote unquote wrong. Sagittarius hates to be wrong, but that goes into an even bigger discussion of, well, what's wrong? Maybe it was right at the moment, or it was right in a certain energy, and then the energy changed. And that means there's going to be new solutions, new potentials, and new energies that are righter or better fit. So we're looking at where we've had our own unfulfilled expectations that have created heaviness or doubt, that have maybe sunk your energy. Maybe you felt like giving up. because you thought, oh, well, if it didn't happen by this date or in this way, then it's never going to happen. And that would be something you can shift, and you can give new life to something that you want to manifest or something you want to experience, even if it hasn't happened yet. So don't stay stuck on the 16th floor if you have the ability to elevate to the 22nd floor. Allow yourself to go there. Let go of those expectations. Let go of what you've been holding on to or what you thought it had to be, and open up to the fact that it could be even better, even more magical, even more unexpected, and that it's always going to be about the energies and how they're interacting and connecting. So there's a lot going on here, and I will actually continue discussing this solar eclipse next Monday. So this is the show on Monday, November 1st. I will do another show around this solar eclipse on November 8th. I also did 2 episodes for you on the Taurus lunar eclipse and what that brings in, what that opens up, as well as what energies are releasing. That's a very cosmic energy because it's working with a Pleiadian degree point. And then here we have this new moon solar eclipse working with another very cosmic energy point of the great attractor. So we have some big energies. Keep in mind, we're going to feel this. It can be disruptive when you're trying to sleep. You could feel your body is maybe really hungry or not hungry at all, or you need to drink more water, need more nutrients. There's a lot that our bodies feel with these energies, and we need to ground ourselves, take care of ourselves, sleep as necessary, and also continue to check in with what our energy needs. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope this resonates with you and benefits you and gives you a heads up into how significant this Sagittarius solar eclipse is. And we'll continue the conversation next Monday. In the meantime, you can discover more of my astrology programs and offerings over at mollymccord.online. That's also where you'll find the programs for the 2022 Soul Growth Astrology that covers all of the eclipses in the new year and looks at what is coming up in your chart in 2022. I'll put that link below the podcast here, and it's designed to be affordable. It's designed to be something that you can also reference throughout the year. And that's what people do, is they buy it and then they come back and keep checking in and looking at the energies, especially through the various Mercury retrogrades and other transits as they happen throughout the year. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon. This podcast airs every Wednesday and Monday. And now I have new videos for you every Friday on YouTube as well. So please check those out. Take good care, and I'll see you back here very soon.